Not good at green text, but wanna share this local story from my homeland. Be me, 8-year-old Norway fag. On Sunday hike with family, 'cause that's what Norwegians do. Get to a small hunting cabin right by a lake. Old as fuck.jpg. Uncle gathers the kids and says, do you know why the cabin is abandoned? Kids don't know shit, so we just shake our heads. Because Huldra haunts this lake. Huldra are a type of Norwegian fae, troll, think Norwegian version of a siren. Looks like a beautiful woman but has a bovine tail. Pig related. Apparently 100 years ago there was 3 buddies. Wanna go out hunting deer. They agree to meet at the hunter's cabin. First guy arrives on time. Realizes none of his buddies are there. Has to wait for them. Second dude arrives the next night. First guy is missing. He searches the whole place, only finding his bag and his jacket floating in the lake. Guess he drowned. Gif. Notes it down in the cabin log and waits for the third guy. Third guy arrives the next day, no one's at the cabin. He searches the whole place, only finding his friend's bags and second guy's jacket floating in the lake. Something soft. Wav. Reads cabin log. Figures Huldra must be behind this. It's getting dark, too late to go home. Third hunter keeps himself awake. Doesn't light a fire, as to not alert the Huldra of his presence. Starts cutting the back of his hand to stay awake in the dark. Suddenly he hears a sound from outside. Hunter is quiet. Clutching his knife, knowing cold iron can be used to negate fey magic. He slowly stands up and gets next to the door. Listening, hoping it's a fox or something. Hears noise again, it's the sound of someone sneaking towards the cabin. Not Bnugtrapidbirni troll wench.mp4. Hunter kicks the door open, throwing knife at the shadow and books it into the woods. Since then the cabin's been abandoned. Don't be 17-year-old me. On another Sunday hike with just uncle and dad, because that's what Norwegians do. Get to small hunting cabin by the lake again. Shit has almost trotted away. Uncle asks, did I ever tell you what actually happened at the cabin? Shake my head. Uncle tells me that during World War II the cabin was a meeting spot for Gutta Påsken, translate, the boys in the woods, the Norwegian resistance fighters. Mostly used by a communist subsection of the Norwegian resistance. Someone in the local community really didn't like communists. Bitches started snitching to the Nazis. Nazis set up camp close to the cabin. Straight up just shoots whoever enters the cabin. In the end word gets out and cabin stops being used. Be me, sitting there realizing that I'm sitting on the spot where my fellow countrymen we got executed. Don't know if the Huldra story was made as a kid-friendly version of the tale to not ruin the spot for us kids, or if it was made as some form of code passed around the farms to keep resistance fighters away from the cabin. Pick related it's of the lake. Small man, call him low boy, that looks just like me follows me around and shits everywhere. Here goes. Be me, grown dude mid-30s. Going on my evening run in a nice government-funded trail. Keeps hearing bustling in the woods to my left. Feeling sitsy, stops running to list it. Nothing behind me and nothing to my left but woods. Starts running again. Notices same noise and decides it must be me. Hears a startling yell. Yeah. 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 Almost falls on my ass and turns around. Sees low boy, fist in air screaming hey yeah. Scares the shit out of me. Doesn't want to get stabbed by random trail dweller. Bro looks like Golem and Quandale dingle shit out a skinwalker. I keep a small knife around my neck when I run for this reason. Books it to my car. Backing out I see a low boy dropping trough and shit in bricks. Dude is insane, gotta leave. Goes home, eats dinner, human stuff, goes to sleep. Wake up to sit on porch and drink tea. Massive dung brick right outside my door. Hears same hey yeah again. Runs inside as low boy tries putting his weight against the door to prevent it from shutting. Smacking him in the head with my mug trying to close door. Looks at people, same fist in air screeching. Realizes it looks like me. Pulls out phone to take photo, low boy gone. Goes online to search up anything relatable. Nothing I can find, freak out again. Former law enforcement, so I don't call police. Suspicious why it looks like me. Decide to call my priest, maybe demonic. Nothing happens for a while except a bunch of shit in my porch. Still feels like I can hear faint yelling sometimes. Never saw it again. Been struggling with this for a while. Definitely not an animal. Both encounters, it didn't try to hurt me. Just follows me. Tired of stepping over small human turds daily. Is this demonic? Imagine meeting your kid after 15 years, realize he was poured down your washing machine drain. I don't have proof. I killed him /it whatever. Sharing because I can't live with myself. Be me. 11 at the time. Addicted to tugging my worm since pubes spawned. Remember my first eruption. My aunt was vacuuming and kept bending over in my freaking face. Slooshed so hard, I popped my ass knuckle. Quickly grabbed a sock that I had on standby. Wiped that hose clean and threw the sock in the hamper. It was my team jersey sock. I remember well because that sock went missing in the washer. Fast forward, 26 meters. I started receiving emails on my work email address. After weeks, I take the bait and reply with my Discord username. I join a voice call with user polyesterblend69420. I only hear rubbing and scraping on the mic. Sounds almost like someone dragging their sleeve across it. I hear the words Alugu. He asked for my P.O. box in chat because I can't understand a freaking word. Weeks later, I receive a package at the door. Bring in the box and open it up. Immediate smell of vinegar, pennies and shit. Gasping for air. Out comes the most diabolical looking high school team sock human flesh hybrid genetic cesspool of a sentient being Eva ever seen. His tiny arms are made of pipe cleaners that he fashioned himself, being held together from masses of skin. His mouth was barely able to open between the fibers of 40% cotton blend and moist lips. He leans forward and utters the word daddy. I know who this is. I know what I did. It wasn't his fault. He needs a father. I immediately killed him. Hopefully Teresa heaven for this soul. Dogs don't go to heaven according to most religions, so I don't think he'll see him if I make it there. I thought I had religion. When I met Kumsan, things changed for me. I used to be an accountant, now I live a monastic life searching for a way to make it up to him even in the afterlife. If there is one for my boy. Thanks. Here is another one. Be me. Tenyo? Dad was finally at home after a long service and meal. For context, this is a Latin American shithole, so there is some witchcraft. I'd Dad messed with, but suddenly we start suffering from various disgraces. From general illness to damages. First we all get a super nasty fiber. Then the fridge fucking dies. The microwave follows. And finally the car gets hit too. I arrived exhausted from school, went to bed. This was not my room, it was my grandmother's aunt, who deceased not too long ago. I was playing with a pillow and I feel something weird inside it. Like some sand or those silica balls. Get my hand in there. It was a fucking bag with dirt. Panic attack. Wav. Mother comes, finds 2 more. Then the dog smells the bag and goes to the yard. Finds another fucking bag with dirt and animal bones, but it has a bonus. My dad's photo. Apparently all this thing were caused by this. We also get informed that was a graveyard, dirt. Throw the shit into a river to uncast the witchcraft. I'd cow that works Tetsu. Things slowly recover. We never suffered from the something as bad as that again, so to this day I keep wondering how does that work. Be me. Living in a suburb of a big city in North America. It's in the outskirts, near a big-ass mountain. North of me, the city starts, south of me, it's all forest. Our neighborhood is partly to the south. We were both in high school. We used to stroll every day around the neighborhood, talking. Night hits. We are at a park, the nearest one to the forest. Some people start whistling at us. We walk around the southest street, on one side, houses, on another, the wall that divides the neighborhood from the forest. We still hear people whistling at us. They are trying to invite us. It mimics a whistle from one of our friends. We get scared, and start hurrying up our usual route. The wall stops. There's an entrance that's essentially a trimmed path of otherwise a wall of trees. Two glowing eyes whistle at us, to come in. The neighborhood is worryingly empty. She is in shock and paralyzed. I somehow was energized to grab her by the hand and run away. We go more to the north back to her home. We felt we were still being watched. Although not exactly similar to other mimic stories, I'm certain that thing was definitively of the same species. Me, 14. In the woods to get away from bullshit, find old tobacco barn to stay in overnight. Get fire going, sleeping kit set up. Sun starts going down, secure the 2 doors as best I can. Settle down, bank fire, fall asleep. Wake up few hours later to the sound of scrabbling across the roof. Figure it's an animal, so get up and get fire going again. Fire slowly starts building, scrabbling stops. Voices start, sounds like 3 tinny voices whispering to each other. Start to get creeped out, check to make sure the doors are still secure, add a few more things in front of them, bricks, loose timbers. Voices continue for a little bit, then stop. Scrabbling starts back up, breaking off in 3 directions. Pull out shitty pocket knife, sit with back in most secure corner after adding some more fuel to fire. Every now and then something gets thrown at the side of the barn, sounds like rocks or large pieces of wood. Eventually sun starts slowly coming up, throwing slows, then stops. Wait. About 4 hours after sun comes up, pack up stuff, make sure the fire's out, then slip out as quietly as possible. Hear movement and trees a few dozen meters behind me the whole way home, get in and promptly pass out. Tell neighbors up the road a few days later about it. Their response: oh yeah, sounds like the wood elves. Lucky that's all they did. Just one story of the weird shit that happened in that area, might tell more if people are interested. Me, 2013. Lurking on /x/. See a thread about herbs and potions for ultimate power. Thread is filled with ins talking about the magical and spiritual properties of various herbs. Some claiming they can make you see ghosts, others saying they'll summon sex demons. As an intellectual, I can't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. Join in for the memes. Post something along the lines of, guys, I have discovered the ultimate herb. It's called ashwagandha. Smoke it, and your soul will be lifted into the 4th dimension, allowing you to astral project 5 minutes into the future. Pike roll. Expected some backlash, instead get ins asking for sources and demanding I tell them where to get it. Laugh and tell them it's a joke, but they won't have it. Schizos are now convinced I'm holding back some hidden knowledge. People start posting images of plants they've ripped out of their backyard garden, asking if they've got the right thing. A few even claim to have smoked it. Sides are in orbit at this point. Come back to /x/ almost a decade later. See sex demon, cosmic fungus generals, etc. It seems my presence never died, then. Just remembered another story. Me, 13, summer break, staying at grandparents' house. Was never the most spiritual person. Grandma thinks aunt is cursed or possessed by demon. She always knew a lot about these things. I'm an Arab, so witchcraft and the like are common here. Uncle has friend who's a priest, calls him over. They gather in the living room and tell all the kids to go upstairs, me included. Think they're being superstitious and stay downstairs in another room. After a bit I start to hear aunt screaming. Really loud screaming. Banshee Shrek.mp3. Keeps going, and going, and going. Lasts for about 15 minutes, only stopping for a few seconds every 5 minutes or so. A bit after screaming stops they get out. Aunt is clearly tired, immediately goes to bed. Grandma thanks priest friend and he leaves. Didn't sleep at all that night. My belief in the supernatural was definitely solidified after that. I always got a really weird feeling from my grandparents' house. Be me several years ago on a random weeknight. Work at a small bar right outside the city in New England, USA. Bar is open until 2 a.m. every night and then we clean and restock for about an hour or so. At about 3 a.m. be downstairs in liquor room grabbing wine and beer to bring up to the bar. Cell phone starts ringing, which is very unusual. BC it's super late. Look down and see the call is from my older sister, Irish twin Laura. For reference, at this time my sister is also my roommate, and we live with my boyfriend James in the top unit of a 3-family apartment building. Be totally shocked to see her calling because while I'm nocturnal she works at a daycare with toddlers and gets up at like 6 a.m. every day, so she wouldn't be awake unless something serious happened. Be immediately worried that there's an emergency or a family member has died. Anxiously pick up, "What the fuck, Laura, is everything okay?" Her voice is unlike anything I've heard from her, it's tightly controlled but she's clearly terrified. Anon, there's something outside and it doesn't sound right. James is with me too. We can both hear it. Feel that awful cold plunging feeling in my gut suddenly, like being dropped out of a plane into freezing water. What do you mean it doesn't sound right? She pauses. I can tell they are both listening for whatever it is. I am wicked creeped out but I can't hear the thing through the phone. Laura. It's a baby crying.